Welcome back to the program. My next two guests are the first father and daughter team we've ever had on this television program. The father made a name for himself in the late 60s as the leader of the Mothers of Invention, and the daughter, certainly. You can applaud that? Absolutely. The daughter is currently making a name for herself as the person who introduced Valley Girls to the rest of the world. Please welcome Frank and Moon Zappa. You folks, you in particular, I'm guessing, Frank, have quite a following here in the audience, and we're very pleased to have you here. Let me ask, I know you get tired probably of discussing your family's sons and daughters' names and so forth, but originally you named Moon Unit, right?
Right.
And now you've dropped the unit?
No, I've kept
It's
the
still
unit.
on her birth certificate.
Still on, and what exactly was going through your mind when you named her Moon Unit?
Well, actually, it was a choice between that or Motorhead. I told my wife.
It was now I saw your son, or one of your sons, on the Today Show this morning, and his name is
Dweezil.
Dweezil. Now these are, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but these are peculiar names for children.
I don't think so.
Has it been a problem for you, Moon, being known as Moon Unit?
No, not really. When I was little, I wanted to change my name to Beauty Heart or Mary, but I think that I like my name.
Yeah. And what about the names of the other?
Dweezil, Amit, and Diva.
Yeah, Amit and Diva. Now, I know I was reading that Amit actually wanted to change his name for a time, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, to what?
Rick.
Rick.
You see, when people called him Amit, when people called him Amit, they called him Amit Vomit. And then when he changed his name to Rick, they called him Rick. So he changed it back again.
But actually, you know, they should just call him Amit the Because as he matures, I'm sure that that's what will stick with him.
You get the sense that all hell has broken loose here, and
Quite a bit of heck, perhaps.
yes. Now, tell me about your father as a father. I mean, he is a musical and sociological phenomenon, and a legend, and a little strange, or at least used to present himself that way. What was he, or what is he like around the house? And
well, you know, the usual sadomasochism. No, he's a normal guy. I mean, really.
now, what about when you bring
Got you
friends?
interested now, huh?
When you bring friends over to the, how old are you? Do you mind?
14.
14. So will you bring boys home to meet your dad? Is that strange or not?
Yes, I bring them home, and Frank looks at them, shakes their hand, asks them questions, and you know, if they're okay, you know, it's all right.
Yeah. Now what what constitutes okay for you? Have you? I mean, anybody not make the cut?
Well, she had a guy over the other day that I didn't like too much.
Yeah.
I didn't like him either.
Well, I wouldn't want to embarrass him
By singling
describing.
him.
Yeah.
So.
But that's the only one that she's brought to the house that I didn't like.
Yeah.
And only because he was like a wise guy type.
Kind of a smart mouth.
A nerd.
A nerd. Now this collaboration between the two of you, have you ever worked together before on a project?
Yeah, on the last album.
And that was the one before the single that's so popular now?
That's right.
Yeah, and do you want to be a singer, Moon?
No, I want to be an actress. I'm looking at scripts now. I can sing if it's necessary. I'd like to do a musical or a Hawaiian Punch commercial, or perhaps be
Me too. How about you?
perhaps be an Encino housewife. I don't know.
So these are all lofty ambitions, and Welcome back to the show. This is the most recent Frank Zappa album, Ship Arriving, Too Late to Save a Drowning Witch, from which Valley Girls is taken, or is on, or whatever they say when it's included in the album. Explain to us, again, you must be tired of this explanation, but tell us about how this came to be. Either one of you. This is a toss-up question for 20 points.
Oh, well. I was qualified for the job, and, you know, I've been to parties, bar mitzvahs. I know what I'm doing, so.
Now by qualified for the job, you mean this song is about your peer group, right, essentially?
Well, anybody who knows what the Valley's about, and
You've been there.
I have been to the San
and
Fernando Valley.
experiences it, and can let others experience it as well.
Uh-huh. And what is it
Something to
about?
share with the world.
Yeah, what, in your estimation, what is the Valley about, Frank?
Well, you see, I don't want to break the hearts of a lot of people who really like this record, because I hate the San Fernando Valley. I think it's perhaps one of the most disgusting places on the face of the earth. And I wrote this song about the values of the people in the San Fernando Valley.
Uh-huh.
But it turned out to be cute, and so everybody thinks it's cute. Okay, it's a nice, cute record.
Now, for people who may not know what, if you could just talk like these people talk, do you mind? Or
Sell them some real estate.
Well, like, okay, take this house over here, for example. You notice it's got, like, a little picket fence. It's so cute. There's, like, vines growing over everything. I don't know what the flowers are called, but, like, they're so awesome.
So it just airheads is what you're saying, pretty much. Yeah. And what I read about the record, you got her out of bed at midnight and said, "Come down here," and did you just ad lib what's on the record, or?
Yes.
Yeah. And the results have been overwhelming, successfully for you folks.
Ridiculous.
Ridiculously so. Now, when you were in your earlier stages of your career, you did some, as far as public appearances, you did some interesting things, audience participation, you know.
Yep. That's right.
You got Marines out of the audience and on stage.
Yes.
For
Which is
the-
a good place for Marines.
Now, once you get them on stage, what do you do with them?
Well, you're talking about something that happened in 1967 at the Garrick Theater in the middle of the Vietnam War. And what happened was there had been a murder in the village, and I think a Marine had been killed, and somebody had spread this rumor that the hippies had done it. So all the Marines were coming into the village, the rumor had it, to murder people with long hair. Remember when all that stuff was popular to do? And so we were rehearsing one day, and these three Marines came in full dress uniform in the afternoon. And I figured, well, if this was the hit squad, they wouldn't be dressed up. And they were just fans.
Yeah.
And they were hanging out for a while, and we talked to them after the rehearsal and asked them if they knew any good songs and if they wanted to come on the stage. So they said that they knew House of the Rising Sun and Everybody Must Get Stoned. So I said, well, that's really good. We'll warm up, we'll learn the songs, and you go across the street to the Tin Angel and get drunk and come back when the show starts. So they did. And when they came back, they sang the two songs, and then I said to the audience, well, let's hear it for the United States Marines, and we got this large doll of a child and said, how would you like to show these people what you would do with this in your normal daily work? And they ripped it apart on stage with musical accompaniment, and then after they had finished that, I showed the pieces of the broken doll to the audience. There was a lot of people crying out there.
Yeah. So yeah, that's.
Well, you know, there's a reason for doing things like that, and by the time the media gets a hold of it and people try and explain it over and over again, it turns out to sound like something weird to do. But
It still sounds like something. Well, no, in the context of the times, I understand it, but yeah. And for instance,
it was pretty sick back then, wasn't it?
now another time, you actually got yourself kind of roughed up in London, right?
Yeah, I was attacked by a crazy person.
And the crazy person was unhappy with you, or just crazy?
Well, who knows about crazy people?
Yeah, that's true.
For sure.
Yeah, it was.
But I spent a couple of months in the hospital and a year in a wheelchair, and that was not too fun.
Yeah. And you never found out what the motive for this was?
Well, he told two different stories when they caught him. The first story he told was, see, what happened was I was working in a theater that had an orchestra pit 15 feet deep with a concrete floor in the bottom, and they didn't have it covered over. And the security guards that were hired by the theater were off to the side smoking some marijuana at the end of the show just as we were doing the encore, so they weren't paying attention. And this guy came out of the audience and he knocked me into the orchestra pit.
Yeah.
So he told the press that I had been making eyes at his girlfriend and he was jealous. That was one story. I couldn't even see him I don't even know what the guy looks like today. Didn't see him or his girlfriend because the lights were in my eyes. And then after that, he said, well, we weren't giving him enough value for his ticket dollar. That was the second story that he gave.
For his entertainment dollar. C. Moon, your father has had a very difficult life, and we're going to pause. Again, we'll return to talk more about this with Frank and his daughter Moon. Frank Zappa and his daughter Moon Zappa are here. I wanted to ask you about your friends in the Valley. How do they react to your success by introducing them to the world?
Well, most of my friends don't speak Valley. They prefer to speak English, but those that I imitated are flattered because if there's one thing Valley girls love, it's attention. And
you're making a lot of money on this, I hope, huh? And Frank, it was a pleasure meeting you. I've been an admirer of yours for many, many years, and I know you had a greeting for someone here.
Yeah, ready?
Happy birthday, George.
And George has quite a following of his own, apparently.
That's right. George is a cool guy. He was there when it was all happening.
And George will be when
75.
75. Well, again, and for me, George, happy birthday too. Look for the UPS truck coming by with a lovely gift. Thank you very much, folks. I know you're very busy. I appreciate you being here. Frank, Moon, nice meeting you. Thank you very much.